What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So it looks like pound for pound, number one guy, the birthday boy, has spoken. Floyd Money Mayweather has announced via social media that he will be fighting none other than El Chino, Marcos Maidana, May 3rd. So this is the big announcement. The location is to be announced. I think there's going to be probably an awesome undercard to this. I'm working on a video talking about something. I heard the Charlo brother will be on the undercard. Nothing else is really cemented in stone or released to the public, but I'm sure it'll be something big. And leave it up to none other than Floyd Mayweather to announce under. Some people thought it was going to be on Super Bowl, but he waited till his birthday. Another big day. People are obviously talking about Mayweather because it's his birthday, and he decides to announce it now. So it's kind of fitting. Um, Mayweather's the type that tries to show up fashionably late, if you will, or make these announcements when people least expect it. And it's his birthday, so he decided to announce the fight. So another smart marketing move from Floyd Mayweather. Just regarding the fight, real quick, I'll do an actual prediction closer to the fight. Um, I don't have a problem with the fight. Marcos Maidana is a soldier. I think Marcos Maidana is tough, and it's not really Mayweather's fault if you feel as a fan he has a style that won't compete. Mayweather needs to fight the champions. It's a unification fight. Marcos Maidana recently got a title from Adrian Broner in an impressive fashion. There was no one on earth that could have told me that Marcos Maidana, I never thought that he would win in that fashion. I thought he had a chance to win because he's powerful, and Broner didn't look like his speed and power necessarily transitioned up, and he had a tough time with Paulie Malignaggi, but no one could have told me that he would have won in that convincing fashion and just really bull rush him, knock him down twice. I didn't expect any of that. I thought Broner would probably win via unanimous decision or a split decision. So you got to give the man props for his journey. Fuck if you feel his style is not adequate enough to beat Mayweather. It's not his fault if he's a defensive genius. Same thing with Adrian Broner. A lot of people didn't think Maidana had the tools to beat Broner, and he did it. So it's boxing. We know that he's improving under Robert Garcia. We know that he's a champion, and we know that he has power. Those are like three things that really can't be argued or denied. So at 37, again, it's Mayweather's birthday today. It's still a risk. It's still um, a challenge. There's nobody that, to my knowledge, that has stopped Marcos Maidana. He's been in there and mixed it up with Victor Ortiz. When Victor Ortiz, before he developed this pattern of being a quitter, um, he's fought Eric Morales. I heard he fought Lucas Matisse in the amateurs. He fought Josito Lopez and convincingly won and battled adversity. The fight in recent memory that I can think of where he looked the worst was Devin Alexander, which is going to be a problem. But that was pre Robert Garcia. It will be a problem in the sense of Mayweather, to me, is more fluid than Devin Alexander. And if Marcos Maidana struggled with him, um, then I think he's going to struggle with Floyd Mayweather. And that's just being honest. But again, most guys will struggle with Floyd Mayweather unless you have certain traits and characteristics. But then again, it's not up to who we think is going to be an exciting fight and all that. It's who has earned their shot, who has earned their stripes. And without a doubt, Marcos Maidana has done that, and he's a champion. So I've never seen such a public outcry. Some of you guys that hate, quote unquote, hate Mayweather, you basically are admitting that he is too good, that is a good fighter, he's a skilled fighter, because unless it's someone in a new weight division, like a high weight division or something like Gennady Golovkin or someone higher than he's typically used to performing at, like an Edeslandi Laura, a lot of you guys don't want to see it. You don't even give these other guys a shot unless it's Pacquiao. So, like I said, I have no problems with the fight. Marcos Maidana is a fighter that I definitely like watching. He comes to bring it. No one has stopped him. So the only argument that can be made is he doesn't have the finesse or the lateral movement or whatever you think to trouble Mayweather, but he always has that equalizer, which is his power, and he's a belt holder. Like, since when is it against the law for a champion to unify with the belt holder? I mean, You can check my videos. I've never, like, if Nonito wanted to fight Rigondeaux, I've never been against that. I never said, no, Nonito doesn't need to fight Rigondeaux because he has a boring style or this or that. You know what I mean? People find ways to make excuses. So the fight is in place. It's happening. I will update you guys as I get more details. And it looks like that's what it is. Marcos Maidana versus Floyd Mayweather. And I think it has a good storyline. Floyd Mayweather being the big brother, Adrian Broner getting his ass whooped, being the little brother. So big brother has to avenge little brother's loss. So you can easily tie that in to All Access. Like when you're doing the documentary or building up the fight and that kind of thing. So I think Marcos Maidana deserves a crack at him. There's other guys that deserve a crack at him. Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao. But they're on the other side of the pond. We don't know if those fights are likely to happen. And I honestly think not that either of those guys are necessarily scared per se, but I think based on their contractual agreement with Top Rank and Bob Arum, I mean, I just don't see those fights happening. And I think he's a big part of that. And that's just my honest opinion. But even other fighters that deserve a shot, like Danny Garcia and his pops have clearly been on record saying that they're in no rush to move to welterweight. So it doesn't sound like they necessarily want to fight Mayweather at the given moment. They're content building their own legacy and fighting their own fights. And if that fight presents itself later down the line, then they're okay with that. But both of them have said that. So that's one other opponent. You could say Edeslandi Lara. That's a good fight. Two technicians in there. One bigger, one smaller. But pound for pound guy. And Edeslandi Lara looked great in his last fight against Austin Trout. However, it's funny how people point the finger at Mayweather like, oh, Mayweather needs to fight Edeslandi Lara when he hasn't even been a permanent resident at 54, because you know most of the guys at 47 can't really compete and you don't see them beating him. You want him to move up and travel up because he's had, I guess you could say, a more difficult time or more challenges fighting the likes of Cotto or Oscar De La Hoya at 54. So you're anxious to see that, yet the guys that actually fight at 54, they don't have to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like Canelo doesn't have to fight him. It just doesn't make sense. And I have nothing against any of these guys. I'm a fan of all of these guys that I really mentioned. Again, back to Marcos Maidana. I think he's been in the game long enough. He has the equalizer power, and he's a champion. Enough said. As far as Amir Khan, that would be an interesting fight, but Khan needs to put himself back in the winner's circle and do some things in order to get his name circulating and create that buzz that he once had when he was fighting Paulie Malignaggi, when he was fighting fighters like that, McCloskey, and when he was fighting Zab Judah and defeating those guys. He needs to get back in the mix, especially in the new division. If they were trying to make this fight at 140 where he's actually has wins, that's one thing, but you're in a different it's like going to high school versus going to college. Your stats, if you play football and your stats might have gotten you to that level, you know what I mean? It might have gotten you into college, but really all that doesn't mean shit when you're in college. You have to create your own new legacy and your own new stats. So when Khan moving up to a new weight division, he has to prove himself. He hasn't even had one fight, and he thought he was going to get the biggest fight of his career off of doing nothing, off of the Julio Diaz and pulling out of a Devin Alexander fight. I just don't agree with that. I'm not saying Khan can't make it a fight or doesn't have heart or he's a bum, or I didn't say anything like that. I just said he doesn't deserve it, and that's what I've always said. Let him earn that fight. Who cares if you have 1.4 million Twitter followers or this and that, or if you think your speed will trouble him, because it sure as fuck didn't trouble Julio Diaz that much, and he's much slower than Floyd Mayweather. And obviously, Danny Garcia is slower than Floyd Mayweather as well, and your speed didn't trouble him in the third round. So it is what it is. Let Khan earn his shot at welterweight, get a belt, make it worth Mayweather's while, and have a solid victory. If you notice, Mayweather usually, in recent years especially, has taken these bigger fights off of his opponent looking good. Shane Mosley destroyed Margarito, a guy who's tough, who showed he has a chin, and he TKO'd him. And a lot of people didn't expect that. They said Shane wasn't the same Shane. He was better at lower weight divisions, and he absolutely destroyed Margarito. and then he got the Mayweather payday. Before Pacquiao fought Mosley, Mosley was off of an impressive win. Ricky Hatton was undefeated when Mayweather fought him. I think his fight right before that might have been Castillo or something, who was a veteran and not as shot worn as he is today. Um, Plus, Ricky Hatton has a resume with other guys. He fought Luis Collazo. He had fought Paulie Malignaggi. Well, actually, he might have fought him after. Same thing with Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz and Berto. He had the impressive win over Berto, and then he got his shot. Miguel Cotto avenged his first ever loss to Margarito, and then he fought Mayweather. So if you notice the pattern, Mayweather takes these guys. Robert Guerrero had got a belt after almost 2 years off dealing with his wife's cancer, a long layoff. He got a belt from Selçuk Aydin, who was an avoided puncher at the time and a big puncher. He did the thing in that fight, got the belt, then he beat Berto, and then he got the crack at Mayweather, and he was the mandatory. So same thing with Canelo. Canelo was off of his best performance and I guess the best win, a true 154 pounder in Austin Trout. He looked good, hurt Trout, and showed some more tools. Then he got the Mayweather fight. So for Amir Khan to have gotten this fight right now, that would have went against everything that Floyd Mayweather has built up. I don't really understand the poll. I mean, there was really no point. Mayweather could have just made his decision. Maybe my best bet is Mayweather and his team, Ellerby, Al Heyman, Golden Boy, they were trying to get a pulse from the fans. Like, oh, if we do this poll, we could read some of these comments and get a real feeling as far as what fans are going to pay for and who wants to see what. And trust me, nowadays you might see something different, but there were a lot of fans that were vehemently saying that fuck this Mayweather Khan. Khan's a cherry pick. He's avoiding Maidana, and fuck this. Nobody wants to see it. I'm not paying for it. I'm not watching it, etc., etc., etc. Glass chin. They were making memes about Mayweather was going to say Amir Khan doesn't have a glass chin to sell the fight. And then now Khan doesn't get picked. And some people are flip-flopping. They're like, oh, he's ducking speed for speed to go against a flat-footed fighter. So at the end of the day, you can't please everyone. So just shut the fuck up. It is what it is. Marcos Maidana versus Floyd Mayweather. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off.